Welcome to Build Your Own Water Filter. Here's Sam from the Coastal Watershed Council to share with you the activity.
First thing we need to do is gather our materials. You need an old water bottle that you cut in half. We're going to be using both of these pieces, but we don't really need the lid, so I'm going to leave that aside. And eventually we're going to be fitting this top part into the bottom half. We also need some cotton balls or pieces of fabric. I've just cut up an old t-shirt that I had laying around and never gets used. That way we can reuse these, so if you have cotton balls, that works great too. We have a little bit of soil. You can get this from a pot of soil if you have some, or under a tree, or at your park. I've also got some sand here, some small rocks, and some water. This could be a cup of water, this could be a bowl of water, anything that you can have some water, because we're going to be adding some of the soil to our water to make it really dirty.
Thanks, Sam. Go ahead and pause the video so you can gather all these materials, and then come back when you're ready.
The goal of this activity is to see if we can use just these earth materials that are easily available to make dirty water into clean water. We're not making this so we can drink the water, but we're using this to see how the water, dirty water, might interact with the different types of earth materials to clean it up. So the way we get to do this is by taking the top half of the water bottle with the spout, holding it upside down, and adding your cotton balls or your pieces of cotton fabric to the bottom. That way no chunks fall out the top. We then are going to add a bunch of sand. You can fill this about halfway up with sand. That should be good. And we'll add a layer of rocks on top of that. When we pour our dirty water in through this filter that we've just made, I wonder if the water is going to be any cleaner coming out the other side. I'm going to fix these two together just by twisting them around, and I'll set this aside.
Thanks, Sam. Go ahead and take those steps that Sam just shared with us, and then come on back when you're ready for the next step.
It's time for us to make our dirty water before we do this experiment. So I've got my clean water, and I'm just going to add a couple pinches of dirt to this water. Might get a little messy. You could do this outside, or make sure you have a table mat so you don't get your table super gross. So I've added some soil to make this water really muddy. Something like this might happen in nature if there is a landslide, or something called erosion, which is when the banks of the river start to get washed away. Give it a couple shakes. This water sure is dirty. Now let's see what happens when we pour it into our homemade water filter. I'm seeing it slowly drain to the very bottom. It might take a minute or so, but you can see the water level, how it's going down. We're about to the sand now. The rocks look like they have captured a lot of the big chunks. And some of the smaller chunks are probably getting caught by the sand as well. Even though the water that's coming out of our water filter isn't perfectly clear, if we compare these two, my question for you is, do you think our water filter worked?
Ooh, let's find out if your water filter works. Go ahead, pause the video, take those steps that Sam just shared with us, and then come on back so we can review the results.
After we've completed our experiment, seeing that we've been able to put the dirty water through our filter, which is still dripping water, but it's not as dirty, I have some questions that we can reflect upon. What worked best about your water filter? Is there something that you thought was maybe the best material to use? What would you change for next time? Maybe you would add more rocks, add more sand, maybe the cotton balls do you think is the best part of this filter?